This is Executive Senior Sales Director Amy Kemp. I'm so excited to get the chance to hang out with you this morning or this afternoon, depending on when you're listening, for 15 minutes and to really get the chance to share with you my Mary Kay story. And so I'm recording this message this morning from my dining room. It's actually right at the dining room table, and it is the place where I have literally held hundreds of Mary Kay appointments. Facials, parties over the last 14 years of building my Mary Kay business. And so I chose this location very intentionally because I believe that everything good that happens in Mary Kay starts with the table experience. So my pastor has been doing this really incredible series at our church, and it's called Tables. And I have to share with you some of his thoughts from last week's sermon, and I'm going to connect them with my Mary Kay journey and kind of tell you my story through the connection of tables. So the basic premise of his sermon a couple of weeks ago was that stories are told around tables. And when you're gathered with family and friends or acquaintances, stories are what connect us, and stories are what create the fabric of our lives, like the very essence of who we are. And tables are the space where we learn our stories. We learn who we are as a family. We learn what we believe in. We learn how to tell stories and how to listen to stories. And as our table time in the United States has decreased, so has our overall health, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually in our culture. And our families are falling apart, and our children are struggling to find their identity because they don't know their story. And so I want you to share these stats with you just because it's so interesting. But he said, we eat 1 in every 5 meals in our cars in the United States. We eat 1 out of every 4 meals at a fast food restaurant. We spend the same amount on fast food each week as we do on groceries. And most families average less than 1 single meal together per week. The average American family used to spend 90 minutes at the table for a meal, and now we spend 12. Oh, so you can just think about those stats and do with them what you want to. But our pastor said this, and this is what really resonated with me. When we lose the table, we lose the story. And when we lose the story, we lose our faith. And so today, I want to share my Mary Kay story with you at a table. So sit down and pull up a chair. Welcome to my dining room, because my faith in this business and what it can provide for you and your family is all predicated on relationships that have been built at tables just like this one. So when I was 11 years old, about the age of my daughter right now, she's 12, my mom started her Mary Kay business, and she worked out of the basement of our home. So 2 or 3 nights a week, she would come home from working as a high school English teacher, and she would put on her pink beauty consultant coat, and she would go downstairs. The doorbell would ring. A group of women would come in. We would usually let them in, and they would go downstairs and gather around a table that was always set up in our basement with mirrors on it, and they would try Mary Kay products. And if you know my mom, there probably was also a lot of laughter and hooting and hollering that went on, and the women would leave energized, feeling great, looking great, carrying bags full of Mary Kay products. And so I didn't pay very much attention closely, but after a year of holding these appointments in our basement, my mom took the money that she had earned and took our family to Europe for 2 weeks to visit my Uncle Jeff, who was working for IBM in Rome at the time. And so we went there for 2 weeks and traveled. And I will tell you that up to that point, our vacations really had consisted of going to Virginia for insurance conventions with my parents in the back of a station wagon where we ate out of a cooler, and it was awesome, but it wasn't going to Europe for 2 weeks. That was not our normal vacation. And so going to Europe was a big deal. And those table experiences also resulted later on, I think probably in the next year, in us going to a dealership where my mom picked up the first of what would become over 25 years of free Mary Kay cars. And so as my mom's business grew through the years of holding skincare classes and facials and growing her unit of consultants that she was working with, so did her confidence. And she set goals and she met them, and sometimes she set goals and she missed them. And through it all, I believe she became the best version of herself. And today she is a national sales director in Mary Kay. So I learned firsthand as a teenager, watching her build her business, the impact that this incredible opportunity has, not only on consultants, but on their children and on their families. And using your God-given gifts, like really engaging with them and really letting God use you, it gives permission to the people around you to do the very same thing. So I started my own Mary Kay business when I was teaching high school English, and I was coaching volleyball and basketball. I played basketball in college. I love sports. And I just finished my master's degree in English literature, and I had just gotten married to my husband, Ryan. So I found myself in this place where I'd accomplished all these goals, and I was just kind of looking for what's the next thing? What am I going to do next? We had just enough money to pay our bills, barely, not a penny extra. And I was tired of just getting by financially. And so I knew that with my crazy working hours at school, I couldn't go find a traditional part-time job. No one was going to hire me. And so I called my mom, and we met over, you guessed it, a table. It happened to be at a Pizza Hut in Streator, Illinois, where I shocked her by telling her that I was going to start my own Mary Kay business. So I could focus today on all of the incredible things that Mary Kay has brought into my life. I could tell you about trips that I've taken around the world to places like Monte Carlo, Monaco, Munich, Germany, Rome, Italy, Maui, Hawaii, Beijing, China. I could tell you about our trip to London this past September. I could tell you about the 8 free cars that I've earned with Mary Kay, 6 of them. We just picked up our 6th pink Cadillac. I could tell you that my highest monthly paycheck with Mary Kay was for over $27,000, more than I earned in my entire first year of teaching. I could tell you about my flexible schedule that allows me to see my kids off to school in the morning, to be there when they get home off of the bus, to go to their games and activities, to work around my husband Ryan's schedule. He's a busy high school vice principal. He's an assistant principal and athletic director, but he also coaches basketball. So his busy schedule is just kicking in right now. And I could tell you about the flexibility and the freedom that this career has given me. But I really want to share with you 2 short stories today that I think best summarize my Mary Kay business and why I love it so much. And that also just tell you the impact this business has on my life. So the first is about what your children learn from watching you build a business out of your home. So I have 3 children. Well, we have 3 children. And so Avery is 12, my son Anthony is 9, and then we have Hurricane Andrew, who is 4. And we jokingly call him that because he leaves a path of destruction everywhere you go. In fact, if you could see the other way from where I'm sitting right now, you could see a line of toys that he has that spans from one side of our living room to the other that he made me swear I wouldn't take down today. So leaving them there. So on Sunday, this past weekend, I was in the kitchen loading the dishwasher and the doorbell rang. We have a great neighborhood. Our kids are always outside playing. So I go to the door, I open the door, and there's these 4 little faces peering up at me. And I actually am going to show you this picture. Let me line it up here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I think you can kind of see it. Okay, so this is what I saw. So to kind of give you an image. So they're standing there, and Andrew, this is my hurricane right here in the green shirt. Okay, so it's Elise, Ramsey, Easton, and Andrew. They're all about the same age, from 4 to probably like 7. And they play outside all the time together. So Easton is holding this sign and it says, "Polished rocks, only $1." And Elise is holding these 2 rocks. Ramsey, who's next to her, he is mad. He's like gonna spit fire at Elise because turns out he wanted to be holding the rock that she was holding, and blah, they were arguing. Andrew is just standing there smiling. And you can see from this picture, he is just ecstatic with himself. Look at his little face. So he's just standing there like, smiling from ear to ear. And Easton kicks off the sales pitch. And so he says, we have polished rocks for sale. And then Andrew holds up this rock. It's like they had rehearsed it. And he says this, and I actually wrote it down so I could read it to you. Mom, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to buy a polished rock? They're very beautiful and only $1. So I had to turn around so that they couldn't see me laughing. And then I just said, I would love to buy a polished rock, of course, because if you didn't buy a polished rock from these four, you have a heart of stone, literally, no pun intended. And those little buggers, they traveled from house to house around our neighborhood, selling their rocks and made $8 in 1 hour. And I guess what I would say is that while I've been holding appointments at this dining room table, a lot of times the kids are sitting in the kitchen having supper, or they're in the living room playing with their toys. Even a cute, daring little 4-year-old boy has been listening and gaining confidence to ask and to approach people and to really take the world on. And so I love seeing my kids grow up confident and learning how to talk to people and learning communication skills because they see me working every day in our home. The second story I would love to share with you to wrap up today is about a consultant in my unit named Patty. So I met Patty sitting at a table at a Mary Kay party. Patty worked in her husband's insurance office. She's the proud mom of 2 grown sons, and she has tons of awesome grandchildren. So she was very quiet, very polite, and very eager to learn at this party. And for some reason, I just kind of felt drawn to her, and I asked if she would meet with me and her consultant for a cup of coffee at a table. And before meeting, unbeknownst to me, Patty did weeks of research, reading Mary Kay Ash's autobiography, learning about our business plan and really how it works, talking it over with her husband. And she came to our conversation with a list of prepared questions for me. And as we talked, she got those questions answered and decided to order her $100 starter kit. And she dug into her new business, starting with our new consultant training. Now, Patty lives in a small farm community in central Illinois, and it was very important to Patty that her customers, she provided them with great customer service where they could get product right away. She wanted to have product on hand. And in 6 months, she has grown her customer base to about 100 women. And of course, she holds most of her appointments at her dining room table. If you ask Patty why she loves Mary Kay, she will tell you the greatest joy in her business is the opportunity to serve women and to hear and share in their stories. She'll tell you about times when grieving widows have come to sit at her table, heartbroken, weary, and how they have left encouraged and energized and looking and feeling better than they have in months. Or she will tell you about young women who gather around her table where she can mentor them and listen as they talk about career choices and raising young children and marriage. And these women laugh and cry, and they are loved at Patty's table. And she has truly fallen in love with the table experience in Mary Kay. So these table experiences have given her many paychecks of the heart, but also real paychecks. And just 2 weeks ago, Patty got to give the surprise gift of a lifetime to her husband, Guy, a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan. He's really wonderful other than being a Cowboys fan. I'm just joking. He's wonderful anyhow, but unbeknownst to Guy, Patty had been saving the profits from her Mary Kay business, and she purchased tickets to a Sunday night football game in Dallas. She paid for their flights, their hotel room to celebrate his 55th birthday. And how I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when she presented Guy with a Cowboys t-shirt and told him that he was going to his very first Cowboys game. She said he even teared up a bit. He was so surprised. And when I asked her about the experience after they got home, she said, once he got to our seats in the stadium, he wouldn't move because he wanted to take it all in, and he never stays in his seat. He stayed there from 5:45 until 11 o'clock at night. It was so much fun watching him enjoy the whole weekend. I'll show you a quick picture of them at AT&T Stadium in Dallas this past couple of weekends ago. Pretty cool. So Mary Kay has enriched my life in so many tangible ways with prizes and gifts and money and free cars. But I'll tell you that the stories that are formed and told around tables are the reason I believe more in this opportunity today than when I started my business 14 years ago. This business is about stories. It's about relationships, and it all starts at a table. So thank you for sitting down with me at my table. If you've been thinking about doing something like Mary Kay, wondering if it could make a difference for you, I'd invite you to be part of our story. Order your starter kit. It's $100. And that starter kit could be the start of a story that you never dreamed would become a reality. If you still have questions, I'd invite you to sit down with your consultant at a table. Write your questions out and just drill her with questions. Ask her about her business and what she loves about it, what the challenges are. Ask her those questions at a table. And if this Mary Kay opportunity isn't for you, we'll keep you forever as a great customer, and you can keep coming back to our table to try and use our products forever. We love you. We love providing great customer service and helping you look and feel your best. So thanks for hanging out today. Your password is opportunity. Be sure to give that to your consultant so that she gets credit for you watching. Opportunity.